When Donald Trump returned to the White House in 2025, many in India hoped for a revival of the strong US-India relationship that had grown over the past 2 decades. But instead, the first months of his new presidency brought a series of actions that shocked Indian policymakers, rattled businesses, and angered the public. From visa crackdowns to crushing tariffs, from sanction waivers being revoked to humiliating deportations, Trump's policies are reshaping the way India must think about America. In this video, we'll break down the top 10 actions taken by Donald Trump against India, explain what exactly happened, why it matters, and what it means for the future of India-US relations. Action 1. The $100,000 H-1B visa fee hike. One of the first shockwaves came when Trump announced that the annual fee for H-1B visas would skyrocket to $100,000 per worker. Since Indian IT workers make up nearly 70% of H-1B holders, this move directly hit India's tech sector, outsourcing companies, and young professionals dreaming of working in Silicon Valley. It was not just a policy, it was a signal. Trump was ready to weaponize immigration rules to protect American jobs, no matter the cost to allies. Action 2. Visa revocations over fentanyl precursors. In September 2025, the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi began revoking and denying visas to Indian executives accused of links to fentanyl precursor trafficking. While Washington argued it was about fighting the opioid crisis, India saw it as collective punishment that painted Indian pharmaceutical businesses with a broad, damaging brush. Action 3. Naming India a major drug transit country. Soon after, Trump's administration went further, officially naming India among 23 countries listed as major drug producers or transit hubs. For a nation that has worked hard to project itself as a responsible global power, this designation was deeply embarrassing and politically sensitive. Action 4. Revoking the Chabahar waiver. India had been allowed, under earlier U.S. policy, to continue developing Iran's Chabahar port, a strategic route for trade with Afghanistan and Central Asia. But in 2025, Trump revoked that waiver. This slammed shut one of India's few sanctioned workarounds and weakened its regional strategy, especially as China expands its own Belt and Road projects nearby. Action 5. The extra 25% tariff on Indian goods. In August 2025, Trump imposed a brutal 25% additional tariff on Indian exports to the U.S., citing India's oil purchases from Russia. This raised total tariffs on some products to 50%, a devastating blow for Indian exporters in textiles, metals, and machinery. New Delhi blasted the move as unfair and unreasonable. Action 6. Using emergency powers to justify tariffs. Trump didn't stop there. He invoked the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to push through tariffs by framing India's trade policies as a national security risk. The tactic was seen as overreach, and Indian businesses were left scrambling with legal uncertainty while U.S. courts began reviewing the legality. Action 7. Court battle over India-Pakistan ceasefire. In a bizarre twist, Trump's legal team argued that tariffs on India were justified by citing the India-Pakistan ceasefire as if India's regional tensions were a threat to the U.S. economy. American courts rejected this defense, embarrassing the administration and exposing just how politically charged these tariffs had become. Action 8. Deportation of 104 Indians in chains. Another low point came when 104 Indian nationals were deported from the U.S. on a military aircraft to Amritsar. Reports said they were handcuffed and chained during the flight. Images of the deportees triggered outrage across India. Many saw it as not just deportation, but humiliation. Action 9. Harsh trade rhetoric. Trump repeatedly accused India of being a tariff abuser and called past trade deals with India a one-sided disaster. While rhetoric may seem less damaging than policy, these words shape markets and politics. They harden perceptions that Trump sees India less as a partner and more as a competitor. Action 10. Punishing India for buying Russian oil. Perhaps the most geopolitically sensitive move, Trump tied India's oil imports from Russia to U.S. tariffs and penalties. For India, energy imports are a matter of national security and economic survival. For Trump, they became a bargaining chip. This has forced India to reconsider how much strategic autonomy it really has. So what does all this add up to? Economically, Trump's tariffs and visa restrictions threaten billions in Indian trade and services exports. Politically, the fentanyl and drug designations harm India's global image. Strategically, actions like Chabahar revocation and oil-linked tariffs limit India's room to maneuver in foreign policy. At its core, Trump's approach reflects a transactional worldview. Allies are only as valuable as the deals they bring. For India, this means the U.S. relationship under Trump is no longer built on shared democratic ideals, but on cold calculations of profit and leverage. For India, the message is clear. In the Trump era, even close partners are not spared. Every policy, every deal, every handshake is weighed against America first. The challenge now is whether India can adapt by diversifying its global partnerships, building self-reliance, and asserting strategic independence, or whether it will continue to absorb the blows of Trump's unpredictable policies. The coming years will decide whether India and the U.S. grow apart, or find a new balance in a world where loyalty has a price tag.